and public input. Virtually everyone dealing in some shape or form with the same item. There were some requests that were not accepted this time. A number to do with this item, just because of the sheer weight of numbers, but however I do hope to make that facility open to people at the next meeting, and in all fairness to give everyone a shot at this. And there was also a request from Auckland Yachting and Boating, which wasn't really appropriate to the business of the committee today. Just before we go to public input, I will just, which is all to do with the Inner West projects. There is an item, of course, coming up later in the agenda to do with the Great North Road corridor component of that network. And I've just been asked to make a very brief statement just in respect of what the decision making is today. That will be clarified by the chair of the Auckland Transport Board, who will be appearing later on. So I won't go into any more detail other than to say that the final decisions for this project is that of the AT Board, and as noted in the report, the AT Board does support the proposal on the basis of their last meeting, and Auckland Council, the shareholder, cannot give a binding direction to AT. However, and I think this makes certainly the presentations today very pertinent, the letter of expectation for the forthcoming statement of intent has asked AT to assist this committee to set an overarching direction for transport in Auckland and ensure appropriate democratic oversight of AT's activities are met. So in this respect, today's agenda item will be more to do with information, providing the facility for a site visit and briefing, and also the ability to provide feedback. So that will be made clearer by Chair Donnelly when he comes in earlier, but I just thought I'd put that on the table for our submitters from the public today. So to that end, we do have a number of people that are submitting to us today. You will, and due to the large number, we will be quite strict with the 5 minutes. The bell will go after 4, and the presentation will be over at 5. So I hope you've used your stopwatch and your timing. Members, I really appreciate it if we kept questions to an absolute minimum. And in some cases, I think it'll just be the value will be in listening to the presenter rather than cross-examination. So I hope that's taken on board by everyone. So the first person up today is Bupsi Moran. Welcome, Bupsi. And the floor is yours.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Ko Bupsi toku ingoa I tupu mai hoki Los Angeles, Enari, Tamaki Makoto, toku turanga waiwai inayane. Hello, my name is Bupsi. I've lived in Auckland for 15 years. I'm a relief teacher at Newton Central School, and my 2 children attended there. So I'm opening with the question, how did you get to school when you were 9 years old? And these photos were taken Monday morning at 8:30 in the Inner West area. So that's how we travel in our suburbs. I couldn't find a photo of myself, so that's my mother and me 40 years ago, and I still have my mom's face watching my kids cross the street, in particularly Nixon Street. We've been waiting as Newton Central for 4 years. Our principal took time off school, as you know how hard that is, to present, and 3 months later they carried $615,000 to improve our area. But so I'm specifically talking about Great North Road, the region between K Road, Karangahape Road, and Grayland Library. So this student on the left was 9 years old, year 5, and I walked by her Monday, and I told her that Waka Kotahi had given 51% of the funding, but we were still waiting. So hopefully today we can endorse the construction of this project, because this is now the 3rd local board term that nothing has improved for our students. And still, while we wait, this is how we move in our area. We bike, we bus, we walk. Lots of us do it. I just don't think maybe all councillors see how we move in our inner west suburbs of Freeman's Bay, Grayland, Arch Hill. mothers pregnant on bicycles. That's how we move in our city. And parking is an issue in the case that no one's using it on that stretch. So that's Monday, 8:30, completely empty. If you see on the bottom right, there's a warehouse space that's completely empty because everyone's hiring stuff. So they have capacity and there's space. And then I was there last night and there was no one using the spots either. Just on that stretch between Karangahape Road to the library, they're pretty much empty. So students from Newton Central School, they attend Pasadena Intermediate and Western Springs College. So you can see it's a 15-minute cycle. The fastest cycle is actually down that ridge towards the school. Or that girl that was walking from Newton Central to Auckland Girls. So making it safer for them is really important. And you can see all the Western Springs College students, that's their catchment on the top left. And so they're all walking, cycling through that area to get to Kura and school. And they bike, lots of them. There's so many bikes going to Western Springs College through the city that they're out of parking. So that's how we move in our inner west suburbs. And if you look back, there's actually skateboard parking as well. And the post fleet uses bikes. And just for our new entrants, for our kids, we have to wear high vis. We have to get training from a constable to teach our kids how to walk without getting hit by a car. We have training sessions to be safe, to pay attention. So this is how kids have sacrificed for drivers. All these items they think about when they leave their front door, and we always are prioritizing how drivers are moving through the city and not necessarily thinking about how our most vulnerable move through Tamaki Makaurau. If you watch the project on the 5th of March, everyone wins too. If I'm as a parent comfortable that my child's going to be safe walking to school, I'll let them walk instead of driving. Fewer cars on the road, better traffic. Jeremy Corbett and Kanoa Lloyd said traffic maths. So it's to improve flow for everyone, including the walkers. And then just this week on March 13th, some people want to do a permeable membrane between the footpath and the road. But as you can see just 2 days ago, on a presentation in the past, the cars drive up and went on the footpath. There's links there you can link, and then that's just 2 days ago. And then my friend's kid got hit by a car. Luckily she's okay, but she was bruised and shook, but it could have been a lot worse. And she wrote that she was grateful. The driver was only going 25K per hour. So if you wonder what it looks like to be hit, the car gets damaged too, and it looks pretty serious. And this is my friend in the UK. Her daughter got hit 2 days ago, so I got permission to share this photo. She doesn't want to walk anymore. She's scared. And then there's a last slide to show you how we move in the inner west suburbs. And we all like to bike scooter. We just wish it was safer. And we are asking our most vulnerable residents to be safe and to be brave just to get to school. And I don't think that's very fair on our kids. And I'm here also because the teachers can't be because they're striking. And I present often because the teachers and students can't be. Today, my daughters are here because there's no school. But I don't think you hear enough from teachers and students. And I think we can do a better job about that. And I'm just here to share their stories of how they get to and from school. And I think we can prioritize that a little better when we think about mobility in Auckland. And just at the library, while we were waiting to prepare to come to here, a girl from West Auckland was hit by a car. I showed her my presentation, and she's like, I was hit, a car ran a red light, they were speeding. I was coming out of dance class, and she wasn't at school because the strike. But I pretty much come to a lot of kids who have near misses or hit more and more in the last 5 years. So I hope we can do better. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Whoopsie. Is any quick questions of clarification? We'll only have two, Councillor Foley and Councillor Dalton.
Kia ora, and thank you for your presentation. Yeah, it's really confronting, I think, when we hear from locals who live in the areas and see the sorts of, risks that people are taking when they're walking to and from school, especially when it involves children. Have you done a deputation to your local board about this issue? And if so, have they shown any support, and what kind of support? Kia ora.
So on this third slide, our principal, I was actually there when they presented. The principal presented about the safety issues in 2019. Of course, we had COVID, but they had actually promised $615,000 to improve the safety, particularly in Nixon Street, where the cars pull off the Newton exit and aren't looking for walkers. It's like every day is a near miss. And they also allocated any extra funding to go to that school. So not only were they allocating funds, but since then we've heard nothing. And this particular Inner West project, 51% of the money is going to come from Wakakotai if we approve it by June. But if we don't approve it, the school again, and we have more students, more density, the demand's higher, but the safety's worse.
Thank you. Councillor Dalton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Boopsie. That's a powerful slide there. And I think you're right. You know, people don't understand who live out in the suburbs just how the inner city works with travelling. Again, how long has this project been waiting? When did it first start? I understand about the funding, 50-50, but my concern is around the money invested already and how long that's taken to get over the line with local board support as well.
So the reason Monmouth is an issue is it's not that the school's on Great North Road, but all the kids are taking that route to get there. And also you have the loading trucks. So you have the Audi, the Toyota, all of them are parking. So when I would cross with my kids, we'd wait like 5 minutes because you can't see, it's blind spot. So the new improvements, we're gonna allocate parking for these loaders. So they're basically just gonna finally look at the whole route to school and make it safer for the loaders, work with businesses, I'm sure. But the main priority was all the walkers and cyclers that are coming off K Road even. You kind of hit like, and we walk as a school, 350 kids to the city. We walked to town hall last month. And we always are walking to school events because we're central, so we like to model that. But if it's unsafe, so we've been waiting since 2016. As a CUDA, that's always the CUDA that's walking to the library, walking to the city center. We brought it up since at least 2016. The improvements, we got K Road, were just kind of stopped right in front of our school. And they won't do any of the local school improvements until Great North, because they want to dig once. So that's why. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Boopsie. We'll move a collective vote of thanks at the end, folks, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. We'll call up our next
Ana koutou katoa.
speaker to public input today,